The morning light hasn't quite made up its mind yet when I slip the latch on the loft door, stepping into a world that exists in the space between night and day, where 30 young souls wait for me in the gentle darkness. There's something sacred about this moment, this threshold I cross every morning at 5:30, when the rest of the world is still wrapped in sleep and dreams. The air inside the loft carries that particular warmth that comes from living bodies at rest, a softness that wraps around you like a familiar blanket. And then there are the sounds. Oh, the sounds. The gentle rustle of feathers shifting, the soft intake of breath, and underneath it all, that low, throaty murmur that pigeons make when they're content, when they're home, when they know they're safe. I never turn the lights on immediately. Instead, I stand there for a moment, letting my eyes adjust, letting the birds know I'm here without startling them. Young pigeons, you see, they're different from the old-timers. They haven't yet learned the deep confidence that comes with age and experience. They're still learning to trust, still figuring out their place in the world, and I respect that tender uncertainty. In these first few minutes of morning, I can hear them stirring, recognizing my presence, some of them beginning that soft conversational cooing that sounds almost like they're greeting me, telling me about their dreams. There's a bird I call Mercy. She's not quite 4 months old, with these remarkable bronze-tipped feathers that catch the light like copper pennies. She's always the first to acknowledge me, this little chirping sound that's become as familiar to me as my own heartbeat. This morning, like every morning, she's perched on the edge of her nesting box, head tilted, watching me with those bright amber eyes. Young pigeons have this way of looking at you, really looking, as if they're trying to understand not just what you're doing, but why you're doing it, what it means in the grand scheme of their small but important lives. I move slowly through the loft, my footsteps deliberately quiet on the wooden floor. The routine is the same every day, but it never feels repetitive. How could it? When you're caring for living beings, each day brings its own small revelations, its own tiny miracles. I check the thermometer first, 68 degrees, perfect for this time of year. The young ones need consistency, predictability. Their bodies are still learning how to regulate temperature, how to adapt to the changing seasons. In the wild, they'd have their parents to guide them through these lessons, but here, in this carefully constructed world, I am their teacher, their protector, their constant. The morning light is beginning to filter through the windows now, casting long rectangles of golden warmth across the perches. I watch as the birds begin to stretch, one by one, extending their wings in that glorious full-span stretch that never fails to take my breath away. There's something about watching a pigeon wake up, the way they seem to unfold themselves into the day. It's not the jarring alarm clock awakening of human life, but rather a gradual emergence, a gentle transition from the world of sleep into the world of being. I have a bird named Whisper. She's a blue-gray check with the most delicate white markings around her eyes, like someone painted them there with the finest brush. She's been with me for 3 months now, and she's one of those birds who seems to carry an old soul in her young body. This morning, she's grooming herself with that meticulous attention that pigeons bring to everything they do. She works through each feather systematically, her beak gentle but thorough, and I find myself mesmerized by the precision of it, the way she knows exactly which feather needs attention, which needs to be repositioned, which needs to be cleaned. The grooming ritual is something I could watch for hours. There's an almost meditative quality to it, the way each bird approaches the task with complete focus and dedication. Whisper starts with her chest feathers, working her way methodically across her body, and I can see the transformation happening in real time. What starts as slightly ruffled morning feathers becomes a sleek, perfectly arranged coat that catches the light like polished metal. It's remarkable how much care they put into their appearance, how important it is to them to present themselves properly to the world. The feeding ritual is perhaps the most sacred part of our morning routine. I've been feeding pigeons for over 15 years, and I can tell you that it's never just about the food. It's about communication, about trust, about the delicate dance of care that happens between human and bird. The feed itself is a careful mixture, high-quality seeds, grains, a bit of grit for digestion. I measure it out the same way every morning, using the same blue metal scoop that's become as familiar to me as my own hands. The sound of the seeds hitting the metal feeding tray creates this gentle percussion, like rain on a tin roof, and I swear the birds recognize it, the way they perk up, the way the cooing intensifies. But the preparation of the feed is its own ritual, one that begins long before I enter the loft. I keep my feed in sealed containers in the storage room, each type of seed in its own designated space. There's the small white millet, the larger yellow corn, the protein-rich peas, the essential grit that helps with digestion. I measure each component carefully, knowing that the nutritional balance is crucial for these growing birds. Too much protein, and they'll become overexcited, too little, and they won't develop properly. It's a delicate balance that I've learned through years of experience, through watching how different birds respond to different combinations. The sound of the feed preparation has become part of the morning symphony. The gentle pour of seeds into the mixing bowl, the soft scrape of the scoop against the metal, the rustling whisper of grain moving against grain. And always from the loft, I can hear the birds responding, their cooing becoming more animated, more expectant. They know what's coming, and there's something beautiful about that anticipation, that trust that their needs will be met. But it's not just the sound of the feed that matters, it's the way I move, the intention behind every gesture. Young pigeons are incredibly sensitive to energy, to the emotional state of the person caring for them. If I'm rushed, if I'm distracted, if I'm carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders, they know. They can sense it in the way I walk, in the tone of my voice, in the subtle changes in my breathing. So I make a conscious effort every morning to leave everything else outside that loft door. When I'm here, with them, this is all that exists. There's a young cockbird I call Thunder. He's a dark checker with these incredible iridescent green neck feathers that seem to shift and shimmer as he moves. He's got personality, this one, the kind of bird who makes his presence known. While the others approach the feeding stations with varying degrees of caution, Thunder comes straight to me, head bobbing with that confident stride that suggests he knows exactly who he is and what he wants. He's learned to eat from my hand, and there's something profoundly moving about feeling those gentle pecks against your palm. The way his beak is so precise, so careful not to hurt you even as he's focused on the food. The first time a young pigeon eats from your hand, it's like receiving a gift you never knew you wanted. There's this moment of hesitation, this careful consideration, and then suddenly there's this warm, small weight in your palm, this creature who has decided to trust you completely. It's a responsibility that I don't take lightly. When Thunder first did this, about 6 weeks ago, I actually had to stop and take a deep breath. It was early morning, much like this one, and he had been watching me fill the feeders when he suddenly hopped down from his perch and walked straight to me, head tilted, eyes fixed on the small handful of seeds I was holding. The moment his beak touched my palm, I felt this incredible surge of connection, this understanding that we had crossed some invisible bridge together. But Thunder isn't the only one who has learned to trust me in this way. There's a young hen named Dancer. She's a beautiful red bar with these graceful movements that remind me of a ballet dancer who has recently started taking seeds from my fingers. She's much more tentative than Thunder, approaching slowly, carefully, as if she's not quite sure this is allowed. But when she finally takes that first seed, when she realizes that this is safe, that this is good, the transformation is remarkable. Her whole posture changes, becomes more relaxed, more confident. It's as if she's discovered something wonderful about the world, about the possibility of trust and connection. The variety of personalities among these 30 young birds never ceases to amaze me. There's Storm, a blue barcock who's always the first to investigate anything new in the loft, approaching with fearless curiosity. There's Gentle, a small checker hen who prefers to observe from a distance, taking her time to assess new situations before deciding how to respond. There's Flash, a young red checker who moves with quick, darting movements, always seeming to be in motion. And there's Peace, a soft gray hen who has this remarkably calming presence, who seems to settle other birds just by being near them. Each bird has their own preferred perch, their own favorite spots in the loft, their own particular habits and preferences. I've learned to recognize these individual characteristics to understand what each bird needs to feel comfortable and secure. Some prefer the higher perches where they can survey their territory. Others like the lower, more secluded spots where they can rest without feeling exposed. Some are social, preferring to be near other birds, while others are more solitary, content to spend time alone. As I move through the loft, refilling water containers, checking the grit dispensers, cleaning the perches, I'm constantly observing, constantly assessing. Young pigeons can't tell you when they're not feeling well, when something is bothering them, when they need help. You have to learn to read their language, to understand the subtle signs that speak volumes about their health and happiness. There's a young hen I call Grace. She's a beautiful red bar with these soft, gentle eyes, and this morning I notice she's holding one foot slightly off the ground. It's not obvious, not dramatic, but I've been watching her for 3 months now, and I know this isn't how she normally stands. I approach her slowly, speaking in the soft, low voice that has become my loft voice, different from the voice I use in the outside world. "Good morning, Grace," I whisper, and she tilts her head at me, that quick, bird-like movement that somehow manages to be both alert and trusting. I extend my hand, and she doesn't move away, doesn't show any signs of fear or distress. This is the relationship we've built, slowly, carefully, over these months together. When I gently lift her foot to examine it, she allows it, and I can see it's nothing serious, just a small scratch, probably from landing awkwardly on one of the perches. But it's these small moments of care, these tiny interventions, that make the difference between a bird who is merely surviving and one who is thriving. The health monitoring is an ongoing process that requires constant attention and vigilance. I watch for changes in appetite, in energy levels, in the way they hold themselves, in the brightness of their eyes. A healthy young pigeon has a certain vitality, a certain presence that's unmistakable. Their feathers are sleek and well-maintained, their eyes are bright and alert, their movements are confident and purposeful. When something is off, even slightly, it shows in ways that you learn to recognize over time. There's a young cock named Courage who has been dealing with some respiratory issues, nothing serious, but enough to require extra attention. I can hear it in his breathing, a slight raspiness that wasn't there a few weeks ago. I've been monitoring him carefully, adjusting his diet, ensuring his area is well ventilated, providing extra support where needed. This morning, I'm pleased to notice that his breathing sounds clearer, his energy level seems improved. It's a small victory, but in the world of pigeon care, small victories are what everything is built on. The cleaning routine is meditative in its own way. There's something deeply satisfying about maintaining this space, about ensuring that every surface is clean, every water container is fresh, every perch is secure. It's not glamorous work, but it's honest work, necessary work. As I sweep the floors, replace the water, check the ventilation, I'm thinking about what this routine means, not just for the birds, but for me. In a world that often feels chaotic and unpredictable, this daily ritual of care provides an anchor, a sense of purpose that goes beyond the immediate tasks at hand. The water containers require special attention. Young pigeons are messy drinkers, and the water needs to be changed frequently to prevent contamination. I use a special water additive that helps support their immune systems, measuring it carefully to ensure the proper concentration. The sound of fresh water flowing into the containers creates its own music, a gentle bubbling that the birds seem to recognize and appreciate. Almost immediately, several of them hop down to drink, their beaks creating small ripples on the surface as they take their careful sips. The ventilation system is crucial, especially with 30 young birds in one space. I check the air flow, ensure that the fans are working properly, that the air is circulating but not creating drafts. Young pigeons are particularly sensitive to drafts, which can lead to respiratory problems and other health issues. The balance between fresh air and protection from cold drafts is delicate, requiring constant attention and adjustment based on weather conditions and the time of year. Young pigeons are fascinating to watch as they navigate their world. They don't have the smooth, confident movements of older birds. There's something endearingly awkward about the way they land sometimes, the way they're still figuring out the physics of flight, the way they approach new situations with this mixture of curiosity and caution. I have a young checker named Hope who perfectly embodies this quality. She's been trying to master the art of landing gracefully on the higher perches, and I've watched her practice day after day, getting a little better each time. This morning, she makes what is clearly her best landing yet, and I can see the satisfaction in her posture, the way she settles herself with what I can only describe as pride. The learning process is different for each bird. Some are natural athletes, taking to flight and perching with ease. Others need more time, more practice, more encouragement. There's a young hen named Patience who has been slower to develop her flying skills, but who has made remarkable progress over the past few weeks. This morning, I watch her successfully navigate from one perch to another, a distance that would have been impossible for her just a month ago. The determination in her eyes, the careful calculation of distance and trajectory, the moment of decision when she commits to the flight, it's all there, this incredible display of courage and perseverance. The social dynamics among the young birds are complex and constantly evolving. I watch as friendships form, as hierarchies establish themselves, as individual personalities clash and mesh. There's a young cock named Leader who has naturally assumed a dominant role among his peers, not through aggression, but through a quiet confidence that others seem to respect. There's a hen named Follower who seems content to let others make the decisions, preferring to observe and learn from their experiences. And there's a cock named Rebel who challenges every established norm, who approaches everything with a questioning attitude that keeps the others on their toes. The light is fuller now, streaming through the windows in thick, golden beams that illuminate the dust motes dancing in the air. The loft has come fully alive, filled with the sounds of morning activity, the rustle of feathers, the soft cooing conversations, the gentle scraping of claws on perches. Each bird has settled into their own version of the morning routine, some heading to the feeders, others to the water stations, still others simply stretching and preening, preparing for the day ahead. The feeding frenzy, as I like to call it, is one of the most energetic parts of the morning. When I finally bring out the prepared feed, the entire loft transforms. The quiet, sleepy atmosphere gives way to excitement and anticipation. Birds hop down from their perches, gather around the feeding stations, engage in that gentle competition for the best spots. But it's not aggressive. Young pigeons have a remarkable ability to share resources, to work together rather than against each other. I scatter some of the feed on the floor, creating multiple feeding areas to prevent overcrowding. The sound of 30 birds feeding is unlike anything else, a gentle percussion of beaks against grain, the soft scraping of claws on the floor, the occasional flutter of wings as someone adjusts their position. It's controlled chaos, organized activity, life in its most essential form. Watching them eat, I can assess their individual appetites, their energy levels, their social dynamics. Healthy young pigeons are enthusiastic eaters, attacking their food with gusto. A bird who picks at their food, who seems uninterested in eating, is a bird who needs attention. This morning, I'm pleased to see that everyone is eating well, that appetites are strong, that the social dynamics are peaceful and cooperative. There's a profound peace that comes from this routine, from the knowledge that I am providing for these creatures, that I am playing a small but important role in their lives. It's not just about the physical care, the food, the water, the clean living space, though those things are certainly important. It's about being present, about paying attention, about recognizing that each of these birds is an individual with their own personality, their own needs, their own small but significant place in the world. I think about the future as I work, about which of these young birds will develop into champions, which will become reliable breeders, which will simply be beloved companions. There's no way to know for certain, of course. That's part of the beauty and the mystery of working with living creatures. You can provide the best care possible, create the optimal environment, offer all the love and attention you have to give, but ultimately, each bird will find their own path, their own way of being in the world. There's a young blue bar hen I call Serenity who has been showing remarkable promise. She's got excellent form, good size, and this natural confidence that suggests she might be something special. When she moves, there's a grace and precision that catches the eye, a quality that experienced fanciers learn to recognize. But there's also a smaller, quieter bird named Gentle who might not have the classic show qualities, but has this incredible sweetness, this calm presence that makes everyone around her more peaceful. Both birds are valuable, both have their place in this small community we've created together. The responsibility of caring for young birds is something I think about often, something that weighs on me in the best possible way. These creatures are entirely dependent on me for their survival, their health, their happiness. It's not a responsibility I take lightly, and it's not one that allows for days off or moments of neglect. Every morning, whether I'm feeling energetic or tired, whether the weather is beautiful or terrible, whether life is going smoothly or presenting challenges, I'm here in this loft providing the consistent care that these birds need and deserve. But it's also important to acknowledge that this relationship isn't one-sided. These birds give me as much as I give them, perhaps more. They've taught me patience, observation, the art of being present. They've shown me that care and attention are forms of love, that routine can be sacred, that small daily acts of kindness can add up to something profound. In caring for them, I've learned to care for myself, to find meaning in the simple act of showing up, day after day, with intention and purpose. The morning routine is also a time for reflection, for thinking about the deeper meaning of what we're doing here. In a world that often seems to move too fast, that demands constant productivity and achievement, there's something revolutionary about slowing down, about dedicating time and attention to the simple act of caring for other living beings. It's a reminder that we're all connected, that our actions have consequences, that love is best expressed through consistency and presence rather than grand gestures. There's a young cock named Dreamer who has become something of a philosopher in my mind. He has this habit of perching alone, gazing out the window, as if he's contemplating the great mysteries of existence. This morning, he's in his usual spot, head tilted slightly, eyes focused on something beyond the immediate confines of the loft. I wonder what he's thinking about, what he sees that I can't see, what dreams occupy his bird brain. It's a reminder that even in caring for these creatures, I'm still encountering mystery, still discovering things about consciousness and awareness that I'll never fully understand. The individual personalities continue to emerge and develop as the birds mature. There's a young hen named Artist who has this remarkable ability to arrange her nesting materials in perfect symmetry, creating these beautiful, ordered spaces that seem to reflect an innate sense of aesthetics. There's a cock named Musician who has the most complex, melodious coo I've ever heard, who seems to take pleasure in the sound of his own voice. And there's a hen named Mystic who has this uncanny ability to sense changes in weather, becoming restless and agitated hours before a storm hits. The grooming behaviors are particularly fascinating to observe. Each bird has their own grooming routine, their own preferred methods and timing. Some are meticulous, spending long periods ensuring every feather is perfectly aligned. Others are more casual, doing the minimum necessary to maintain their appearance. But all of them understand the importance of grooming, the connection between physical care and overall well-being. The social preening is especially touching to witness. Young pigeons will often groom each other, particularly around the head and neck where they can't reach themselves. It's a bonding behavior, a way of establishing and maintaining relationships. This morning, I watch as two young birds engage in this mutual grooming, their movements gentle and caring, a perfect example of how these creatures support each other in the most basic ways. The dust bathing ritual is another fascinating behavior. Pigeons use dust to clean their feathers, to remove excess oils and parasites. I provide shallow dishes filled with fine sand and diatomaceous earth, and the birds take turns using these dust baths with obvious pleasure. Watching a young pigeon dust bathe is like watching pure joy. They roll and flutter and shake themselves with such enthusiasm, such complete abandon, that it's impossible not to smile. The temperature control in the loft requires constant attention. Young pigeons are still developing their ability to regulate their body temperature, and they're particularly vulnerable to sudden changes. I monitor the thermometer regularly, adjust the ventilation as needed, and watch for signs that the birds might be too hot or too cold. In summer, I might add extra ventilation or provide shallow water dishes for cooling. In winter, I might reduce air flow or provide additional shelter. The lighting is another crucial factor. Young pigeons need a proper day/night cycle to develop normally. I use a combination of natural light from the windows and artificial lighting to ensure they get the right amount of illumination at the right times. Too much light can disrupt their natural rhythms, while too little can affect their growth and development. As the morning progresses, the birds settle into their daytime routines. Some continue eating, others begin their grooming rituals, still others simply rest quietly on their perches. The energy level shifts from the excitement of feeding time to the calmer rhythm of the day. It's a natural progression, a reminder that life has its own pace, its own ebb and flow. The health monitoring continues throughout the morning routine. I check for any signs of illness or injury, observe eating and drinking patterns, monitor energy levels and social interactions. Early detection is crucial with young birds who can deteriorate quickly if health problems aren't addressed promptly. But this morning, everyone seems healthy and content, engaged in their normal activities with appropriate energy and enthusiasm. The record keeping is an important part of the routine that often goes unseen. I maintain detailed notes on each bird's development, health, behavior, and progress. This information helps me identify patterns, track improvements, and make informed decisions about their care. It's meticulous work, but it's essential for providing the best possible care for each individual bird. The seasonal considerations add another layer of complexity to the routine. As the weather changes, so do the birds' needs. In spring, they're more active and require more protein for growth. In summer, they need extra water and cooling. In fall, they're preparing for winter and need additional nutrients. In winter, they require more calories and protection from cold. Understanding these seasonal rhythms is crucial for providing appropriate care year-round. The equipment maintenance is an ongoing responsibility. Feed containers need to be cleaned and sanitized regularly. Water systems require constant attention to prevent contamination. Perches need to be inspected for wear and damage. The ventilation system needs regular cleaning and adjustment. It's not glamorous work, but it's essential for maintaining a healthy environment for the birds. As I finish the morning routine, checking the last water container, sweeping the final corner, ensuring that everything is perfect for the day ahead, I take a moment to simply stand and observe. The loft is fully alive now, filled with the gentle activity of 30 young pigeons beginning their day. Some are eating, some are drinking, some are preening, some are simply sitting quietly, content in their clean, safe environment. There's a harmony to it, a natural rhythm that speaks to something deep within me. Thunder has found his favorite spot on the highest perch, where he can survey his domain with that confident air he's developed. Grace is moving normally again, her small injury apparently forgotten. Hope has mastered her landing technique and is now working on something new, perhaps inspired by her earlier success. Mercy is engaged in a soft conversation with another young bird, their cooing creating a gentle musical backdrop to the morning activity. Whisper has finished her grooming and is now basking in a patch of sunlight, her feathers gleaming like silk. Each bird is living their own small life, pursuing their own small goals, navigating their own small challenges. And I am privileged to be part of this community, to play a role in their stories, to witness their growth and development, their struggles and triumphs. It's a humbling experience, caring for creatures who ask for so little but give so much in return. The morning routine is winding down now, settling into the quieter rhythm of the day. The birds have been fed, watered, their environment cleaned, and checked. They're content, safe, cared for. And I am filled with that deep satisfaction that comes from work well done, from duties fulfilled, from love expressed through action rather than words. There's something sacred about this daily ritual, something that connects me to the natural world in ways that our modern life often prevents. In caring for these birds, I'm participating in an ancient relationship between humans and animals, a partnership that has existed for thousands of years. It's a reminder that we're not separate from nature, but part of it, that our well-being is connected to the well-being of all living things. The trust that these birds have placed in me is not something I take lightly. They depend on me completely, and that dependence creates a responsibility that goes beyond simply providing food and water. It's a responsibility to be present, to pay attention, to care not just for their physical needs, but for their emotional and psychological well-being as well. As I prepare to leave the loft, to return to the demands of the outside world, I carry with me the peace of this morning routine, the knowledge that I have begun another day with purpose and intention. The birds are settled now, content in their clean, safe environment, ready for whatever the day might bring. And I am ready too, grounded by this daily ritual of care, reminded of what's truly important in life. Tomorrow morning I'll be back, ready to do it all again, to continue this daily dance of care and connection, this sacred ritual that has become as essential to my well-being as it is to theirs. The routine will be the same, but each day will bring its own small revelations, its own moments of wonder and connection. The latch clicks softly as I secure the door, and I can hear the gentle murmur of contented birds settling into their day. In a few hours, I'll be back to check on them, to ensure they have everything they need, to simply spend time in their peaceful presence. But for now, I carry the morning with me, the memory of 30 young pigeons greeting the day with trust and confidence, secure in the knowledge that they are loved, cared for, and safe. This is what it means to be a pigeon fancier, to dedicate yourself to the care of these remarkable creatures. It's not just a hobby or a pastime. It's a way of life, a commitment to something larger than yourself, a daily practice of love made manifest through the simple act of caring for others. And in that caring, in that daily routine of attention and intention, we find not just the health and happiness of our birds, but our own sense of purpose, our own connection to the natural world, our own understanding of what it means to be truly alive. The morning light is full and bright now, streaming through the windows of the loft, illuminating 30 young pigeons as they begin another day of their small but important lives. And I am grateful, deeply grateful, to be part of their world, to share in their daily routine, to experience the profound joy that comes from caring for creatures who trust you completely, who depend on you absolutely, and who give you in return the gift of their presence, their trust, and their gentle, constant reminder that love is best expressed through the simple act of showing up, day after day, with an open heart and willing hands.